Let's go. How's everybody doing today?
Good. Let's go. Happy Wednesday, everyone.
Team
We're
is
looking
ripping.
forward to this call. Jonah, you're in Scottsdale now, right?
I am. Yeah, this office is buzzing. The boys are throwing down.
I feel like seeing Ethan sitting where he's sitting, it's giving Jonah 2 years ago.
Yeah, bro, I might have
He's
to
sitting
take
in
this office over.
Ethan, can I just get put in your hierarchy, bro? Can you be
Yeah,
my
bro.
one?
You can just take my desk, Jonah. I'll show you how to handle objections. It'll be good.
Perfect. Sounds like a plan.
All right, team. Well, excited to dive into this call. I think this is the first time that we probably have three speakers in the call. And the dynamic today that you're all going to see, it's going to be a conversation. And the title of today's call, I want you guys to take a lot of notes. We will have a Q&A in the last 10 minutes. But our title here is Three Generations, One Mission. So if you notice, we have three different generations. And what we want to highlight for you all is no matter the stage in the business that you found yourself in, either as a new agent within 1 year in the business, towards, let's say, phase two, where now you have at least a team of 5 to 10, or phase three, let's say, to Jonah's point, where you have at least 300 agents. We're going to be showing you guys the different stages of that journey, but most importantly, the behaviors and mindset that you want to have throughout those journeys. So I will do a disservice if I don't give a quick introduction here to Ethan and Jonah. So Ethan has been in the business a little bit over a year. He's written over 500,000 in issue paid. Right now, he has a team of 7 writing agents, and my guy is still producing at a very high level, leading from the front with an average issue paid on the last several months of at least 40,000. Yes,
Stud.
40,000 issue paid.
Stud.
Let's go. Let's
Let's
go.
go.
Then we got Jonah here. You guys all know Jonah. Jonah has been in the business now for a few years, written on his own pen over $2 million issue paid, and now leads a team of 300 agents and continues to grow. So what a better way to pick their brain here. And what I'm gonna get started here is with Ethan. And it's not only gonna be a Q&A team, so I want you guys to take notes here, because what a better way to learn from people that have done it, that are continuing to do it, but most importantly, are empowering others to do it as well. All right. So I'm going to start here with our guy, Ethan. Ethan, brother. So now I see you, for example, still producing at a very high level. What advice would you give agents as they go from producing to being responsible to a group of at least 3 to 5 agents? What advice would you give them, and how do you stay so consistent in not only you winning, but helping them win as well?
Yeah. So the biggest thing was when I was going from being a personal producer, and then I started bringing people on like a couple months in. I had a couple of my friends under me. I had a couple agents, they start writing. And like I knew day one, I wanted to be an agency owner, not just solely a personal producer. So when I brought these people on and they started writing, like I was all excited to be an agency owner. I got a couple agents now. I made the mistake of, I was like, all right, I really care about these people. I want them to win. I was like, I'm gonna slow down my personal production. That way I can just help train them and give them all the help that they need. So that was the worst mistake that I made. That was the first thing I learned was yeah, rookie mistake. My income went like completely away, first of all. And then like it's also just like harder to train your guys. Like I learned the biggest thing for me now is like I'm consistently doing 40,000 a month and I got my agents sitting right here like listening to me. So they see me getting hung up on, they see me answering the same objections and they see me like closing two, three, 4 deals a day. It gives them that belief and they see like what's possible. And then they realize all they have to do is do the same thing. So the biggest thing is I thought like going to switch from being a producer to building a team is all right, you have to stop producing and you have to be able to train your guys. The best training for my guys and the reason that my agents are doing so well now, like their first couple months coming in, is because like they see what I'm doing. They see the whole process every single day. And they just can copy and paste that.
Yeah. Let me ask you this because I want to pick Jonah's brain on this too. I've seen you start training them from the get-go where I've seen them also book appointments for you where now they're hearing you because we get caught up, and I learned this from Jonah on let's just role play with the guys, right? So before they get on the phone, we wanted to just role play with them, like trying to save them from the pain of the objections. But
Yeah.
how have you guys, and this is for you and Jonah, how have you guys stayed consistent on not only producing, in this case, Jonah, when you were at that level, but also being direct with them and saying, look, if you want to learn, we're not role playing. Like I'm gonna plug in, join Discord, and hear me as well, so you can do even better than me. Like walk us through that because that was one of my biggest struggles when I started. It was more comfortable to role play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I used to spend a lot of time like role playing and like training agents, like trying to make sure they had everything down. Now it's like we go through the script twice. I'll throw an objection or two at them, and then I'm like, all right, like dial, ask me if you need help. So just get them on the phones as soon as possible.
Well, and if I could add to that too, what we found is role playing is important, trainings are important, and they have their time and a place. Like think about if they've never done any preparation, they just get on the phones, they're gonna stumble and fall on their face, and it's like you don't even know what you don't know because they're so green. So it's like don't get me wrong, you definitely want to role play and like get them going, but then a lot of times what it goes into is there's that comfortability aspect where it's like, oh, like, Felix is my guy and I like Felix because he hypes me up and makes me feel good. So like, I just want to keep role playing with Felix. And then, every time I role play, Felix tells me what I'm doing wrong. And then it turns into a form of mental laziness where it's impossible to become successful and produce a lot if you're not self-aware. So what I want to instill with everybody is you have to develop a certain level of self-awareness for yourself and your business. It's the same thing as anything else. Like it's the same thing if you're in a marriage, if you're doing anything. And so that's one of the most important things where I tell guys when you're on the phones is, hey, we'll do some role play, we'll warm up, you're good, but you're gonna learn the most by actually doing it. Because what we found is 1 hour on the phones, 1 hour on the phones equates to 12 hours of watching trainings and role playing and preparing.
Can you say that again, Jonah? 1 hour on the phone because that's huge. You should take notes on this team.
And if you guys are taking notes, write this down. Results follow repetition. Pressure is the price of progress. Results follow repetition. Pressure is the price of progress. So if you're in a nice, comfortable environment where I'm all cozy and I'm just listening trainings, I'm just talking to Felix because there's no pressure. Well, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to develop. It's hard to progress in this business. But you get on the phones, you get humbled really quick. You're like, oh, maybe I don't know as much as I think I do. Maybe this, maybe that, and then where your mentor, like, I mean, the amount of times that I've had an agent where like they sit down, they're like, "Hey, can you just listen to me dial?" And I'm like, "Well, sure, I'm happy to, but where are you struggling with?" They're like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know what's going wrong." I'm like, "Well, what do you think? Like, what part are you having trouble with?" And like I start asking questions and like the agent just completely oblivious and does it's like no, like when you're on the phones, your managers and mentors are there to help you, but the only way to help you is if you're able to self-diagnose your business. So if everybody new that's watching this wants to progress, this is a simple formula you guys need to apply. Anytime you get an objection and you didn't overcome it, write that objection down. Anytime you lose a sale, instead of beating yourself up and like, oh, lost a sale and oh, I suck. And it's like, no, like sit there, analyze it, think about it, and let's break it down constructively. Okay, where did the sale go wrong? Okay, it went wrong when I was building the why. Okay, what did I say in building the why? Okay, this is what I said. Okay, this is what I think I could have done better. This is where I'm struggling. This is where I need to improve on. Take that 5 minutes to self-diagnose, write it down, analyze it. So then, like, if if I was a new agent and I'm going to Ethan, I'd be like, hey, Ethan, hey, dude, so just had a presentation. This is what happened. This is their situation. Because also, dude, the amount of agents where they're like, all right, I didn't close it here. What could I do better? And they just hand me the financial inventory sheet. I'm like, what do you want me to say, dog? I literally have to spend 20 minutes asking you 100 different questions to like figure it out. And we could do that, or we could get there and save 20 minutes of our time and get there that much faster if you're able to have that level of self-awareness where it's like, okay, this is what happened. This is their situation. Boom, 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 boom. Read off the facts. This is how the appointment went. This is where it went wrong. This is what I said. What could I have done better? And where do you think I can improve based on the information I gave you? And then boom, 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 boom. We're able to have a way more intentional conversation, tweak certain things up, and then go from there.
What
Yeah.
I'm hearing, team, and I'm gonna ask you something here, Ethan, is because that was one of my biggest building business, right? I've been in the industry now for 9 years, babying people a lot, right? Where you want to save them from the pain, right? It's like a lot of us, when you told your parents that you were gonna get into this industry and do what we do, man, I don't know about you guys, but I can sure a lot can agree. They were like, "Are you crazy? Like, what are you doing? That's not it's not stable, right?" They want to save you from the pain, but in this business, the best way you learn is to go through the pain, and the pain may be 3 to 4 objections when you're just starting to learn the hook and the introduction as a new agent. So I know we have a lot of new agents here. So take note of what Jonah and Ethan are saying around, in order to get to the quality, we have to go through the quantity. So don't entertain, if you're building a team, agents questions when they haven't had enough reps. So I always say this, right? In order to swim, you can't just study water and learn how to swim. You got to even put the floaties in and dive in, and that's how you learn to swim. So Ethan, because I've seen you, man, I've seen you, and you're literally across from me in the office,
Mm.
and it's crazy the level of proximity that you're producing, and you have like a circle of guys around you, closing with you, but also observing you. How are you leveraging your time to still be able to pour into them, right? When you have your one-on-ones, but also continue to produce because you still have 24 hours in the day. How are you doing that? What tips can you share with people again that are starting to build while still producing at the same time?
Yeah, no, that's a good question because I know like that's a question I had when I first wanted to start recruiting. That's a question like every agent has, like how like they think they have to wait to recruit because they won't be able to produce. The truth is to be able to do that, like it was a transition for me at first. You know, you can't just be sitting there like hammering the phones all day. You have to be able to create a schedule, have like time blocks, and you have to have systems in place. So for me now, like as far as my personal production goes, like I'm really not dialing the phone. I'm not out like searching for one calls or trying to book appointments. I do if I have like an open slot, which is rare, but like I wake up to a full day of appointments every single day. Like today is completely blocked off. Like I just closed the sale before this. I thought I was going to be running behind. Um, so like I just have a full day of appointments, and then like that's the best training for my guys is like if they have a question on like how to close or whatever, like they would have just heard me do it. So they sit there, they hear me go through it. And then obviously like any chance I get if I have a no-show or sometimes I'll like block out time for me to eat while I'm eating, like I'm sitting there listening to them, I'll give them advice. So it's just nonstop, like no blank space, and then just putting it all in. But the biggest thing is them just, hearing me go through the process.
Now,
Can I,
real
can
quick,
I add to that?
go ahead, brother.
Because that was so good, Ethan. Where I want to encourage all, especially new agents on here, but everybody, where what Ethan said is so important, where an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And so for me, I hated white space on my calendar because A, that meant I'm wasting time and I wasn't making money. But more importantly is anytime I had white space in my calendar, well, what was that room for? Dude, I would like that was room for I'd overthink and I'd be like, dude, I know I did 30K last month, but like maybe I don't know if I can really do this. Maybe I got lucky. Like you have all these self-deprecating thoughts coming in. And I was just running a one-on-one with an agent before this here in the office and he's like, dude, to be honest with you, like I deal with a lot of anxiety. And I was like, well, why do you deal with anxiety? And he was saying because because I have, like whenever I have white space, I'm thinking about like, all right, what if, like what if I don't make a sale? And if I don't make a sale, I don't make money. And if I don't make, I'm like, okay, well, let's think about that more. Like instead of not trying to think about it, like let's really exhaust that thought and go down that rabbit trail. And we did. I was like, okay, well, what happens if you don't make a sale for the rest of this month, for November? He's like, oh, I'd be fine. Okay. Well, what happens if you don't make a sale for December? He's like, oh, I'd still be okay. Okay. Don't make a sale for January. All right. That'd be tight. All right. Don't make a sale in February. All right. I'd be cooked. Be like, okay. Well, what is the probability that you don't make a sale for the next 3.5 months? Basically impossible as long as you're dialing. And he's like, but like, let's say hypothetically, for whatever reason, you don't. And then what happens if you don't make a sale and you don't have money? You're going to get evicted. Okay. You get evicted. The eviction is about 30 days. But let's say hypothetically, you get evicted immediately. What happens then? He's like, well, I would be able to go stay with so and so. Be like, okay, well, what if so and so doesn't allow you to stay with them? Well, I have this person I could like. Oh, it's like anytime like you have these negative thoughts, these self-replicating thoughts. One thing that's always helped me is I always like to think of what is the absolute worst case scenario, and I always come to two conclusions where it's always A, it's not as bad as I thought, and then B, what is the probability of that occurring? And then he was telling me this, and he was saying this as like a negative thing, as something he's dealing with. I was like, bro, honestly, that's a good thing because the Patrick but David, he's got a great saying. If you guys are taking notes, I encourage you to write this down. Only the paranoid survive.
Mm,
Only the
mm.
paranoid survive. So the fact that every successful entrepreneur has a certain level of anxiety because too much anxiety or too much uncertainty leads to anxiety. Too much certainty leads to boredom. So like you want to have that healthy mix where a little bit of anxiety, especially if it's channeled, that's a good thing. And that's leverage and use that to your advantage. So that was one thing that was on my mind that I wanted to share with all of you guys today.
And guys, because I'm gonna go back to I want to highlight something Jonah said here, and then I'm gonna go back to what Ethan was saying about systems. Because I'm searching the room and I'm seeing a lot of times that one of the questions that a lot of you guys want to ask is, what's the secret sauce? Like, what systems do you have? I want to wake up with my calendar full of appointments. So I'm gonna address that in a second here. But it's important that you also name. I had a mentor that told me, name your anxiety. Name it. Me, I'm Hispanic, so my anxiety is Pedro. I call it by the name. And I talk to that anxiety because you will have it. You're like, what the heck? You're crazy. Yeah, because I want to know. I almost humanize that anxiety. And a lot of times we think stress and anxiety is a bad thing. But Pedro is not a bad thing because I'm stronger than Pedro. And typically when you have anxiety, to Jonah's point, I don't mind equals the devil's workshop, because that's the time he has to get into your head. And that's when you start saying, I have imposter syndrome. I just self-sabotage myself. When you tell yourself that BH voice is just telling you that you haven't done it enough. And you got to keep doing it, which leads me to the systems. Ethan, when you started the first year, did you wake up with a calendar full of appointments?
No, absolutely not.
So walk us through that, because I think a lot of times people see you and they think like, oh, he's full of appointments, he doesn't dial anymore. But can you share what you went through in that first 30, 60, 90 days? Because I see a lot of new agents here in this room. What did you go through? Because sometimes, and I was guilty of this, I wanted to skip different seasons of my life. And this can be very biblical as well. You cannot skip any seasons of your life because you're blocking the blessing that's waiting for you on the other side. So if you're trying to skip seasons, that blessing, you're not going to be able to rush it because you're not going to be prepared to steward it the right way. So Ethan, walk us through those first 30, 60, 90 days and share your perspective, please, onto how now you even value those calendars full of appointments because of what you went through in the last 9, 12 months.
Yeah, I always like to make that super clear, especially for my new agents. Because they see me now like it just looks easy. Like it's just every single day, it's so consistent. But it's like I always tell them like it was not always like that. Like I tell like they used to I remember people, when we were in the Chicago office, they used to like walk by and take pictures of my dial tracker. Like they're like whole like amazed by like how many dials I was making, like the inputs, all this stuff. I'll never forget it. I pulled up the picture and showed one of my agents the other day. I went through the group chat, but like I made like over 300 dials. Like the whole dial tracker was filled out. I had no closes. I don't even think I had a presentation that day. And it's like probably like 6 o'clock or something. I'm still just grinding the phones. Somebody walks by, they take a picture, send it in the group chat. Like everybody's like firing it up. And I'm like I was mad. I was mad at myself. Like I'm not blaming the leads. I'm not blaming the script. Like I'm mad at myself. Like some people like they try to not be mad, or maybe they're mad at the wrong things. Like I was mad at myself. I'm like, dude, I should be closing. Like, and if I'm not closing, I'm gonna fill out 3 dial trackers if I have to. Like, so it's not just like you hit 300 dials and you're done. It's what do I need to do to hit my goals? So my first like 30, 60, 90 days, like that's what it looked like. Like there was good weeks in between there because I had so much activity, but it was over 300 dials like every single day, spending, money buying leads every single week. And I wasn't getting the results I necessarily wanted. But like the reason I'm in the spot that I am now is not because what I do now. It's because of what I did then. Those first 30, 60, 90 days is what allows my systems to work so well because I bought so much leads and I built my skill set. Um, so in the beginning, like you said, it was tough. It was just straight grinding and buying leads. And I'm so thankful I did that because with my system now, having a dialer and a text VA, I'm not buying new leads for them. I'm still just going through all my old batches of leads. And, like my first couple of batches that I bought when I was brand new, like there's batches I didn't even close a sale on. And then I was like scared to buy leads again, but I did it anyways. Now I'm going through that and then just closing, tons of people without even having to dial. And then the batches that I did close and profit on, I'm running these appointments and pulling out more and more and more deals. So it just keeps going. And like now I'm in the mindset like, dude, I need to buy all the leads that they have. I'm buying them all. Like I get excited to buy leads. I'm like, bro, I get to spend 2,000 this week. Like when I do the math, it's like, bro, I'm making 10 grand this week. Like, let's go.
Let's
Um,
go. Let's go, man. I don't know about you guys, but if this doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will, right? I mean, you have two different generations here. Let's say three, because let's say I'm the senior citizen on the call here with the Jonah and Ethan. But ask yourself, team, ask yourself, what seeds am I sowing in this season that I'm in? Am I trying to rush my dials and I'm trying to, have 15 different lead types to see which one works? And my question now goes to Jonah, because if there's something I've seen Jonah do, is just consistency. Like, not sexy, it's the same thing. It's boring. You know where he's eating on Sundays, you know where he's eating on Fridays. You're like, but why? It's the same thing. The same way he applies that in the business, and it just works. So why would you recreate the wheel or reinvent the wheel? Jonah, how did your mindset evolve from developing producers? When you were going in Wisconsin, in Chicago, pretty much visiting people in home, how did your mindset has evolved from just coaching sales agents to now coaching other leaders that also have businesses that do 400, 500K every month?
That's a great question. Well, there's there's a lot to unpack there, and it comes in stages, and it comes in day to day. Where I wanna highlight again something very important where Ethan said, where he's like, dude, I just got pissed off. Think about this. For everybody on this call, stop being on the sidelines of be the star of your own show. Be the star of your own freaking movie. Stop just being on the sidelines and a spectator. Stop being on standby when it's your like you are the star of the show and get pissed off about that. If you're not making the money you want to make, get pissed off. The agents like there's a form of toxic positivity where it's like, oh, just focus on the inputs and just attitude and activity. And that's, who says that? Losers. Losers say that. Okay? When you're new, yeah. When you're new, focus on the inputs. When you're experienced, when you've been here at least 90 days, Focus on the results. Nobody came to work for free. Like think no, I don't ever go to the office and sit in the office for 12 hours and like, oh, I'm just gonna do this for free. Like your time's too valuable for that. I'm good. I got a lot of other things I'd rather be doing. It's not a charity event. And so I love everybody, but it's like there's other social groups I can go hang out at. I'm not here to socialize. I'm here to work and I'm here to build a business. So you got to have a certain level of not only intentionality, but also intensity behind what you're doing. Anybody that's seen me in the office, I'm super intentional with everything I do. Everything I do is I do it for a reason. From the time I show up to the office to what I'm doing to when I'm doing it to this to that, eating at the same time, like Felix said. So think about, all right, well, if I want to be as effective with my time as possible, what's the best way to do that? And the best way to do that would be to systematize as much as possible and create a consistent routine. And then in order to systematize as much as possible, do the same thing at the same time. Because also your body, like not only is it better for the schedule, but it's also better for your body. Like there's a lot of health benefits to eating at the same time of day. There's a lot of health benefits to doing the same thing. And your body naturally reacts to that, and you're in a much more relaxed state of being because you go back to like anxiety and uncertainty and this like dude if you kind of just walk in the office and you're just casual and you're just like I'm just gonna dial like, you don't have a clear vision, then yeah, I'm gonna get anxiety. But like, hey, I got this many leads, this is how many dials I need to be at by this time, this is my inputs that I know I need to hit for today, non-negotiable, and this is my goal and this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm just simply going to roll in and do it. Like Ethan, every time Ethan walks into the office, he knows exactly what he needs to do for that day. There's zero doubt, zero confusion, zero white space. He simply comes in and he executes. And then I think let me empower you guys too, because I want to instill a bigger vision in your minds. I knew that for me personally, love selling life insurance, love helping families, love what we do. I knew I didn't want to be personally producing and selling for the rest of my life. So the best way to get out of the field is through. It's through. Okay. So I understood. And what I mean by that is I understood that if I was just casually producing, casually writing my 10, 15, 20 grand a month, I would still be in the exact same spot. And I would still be with selling. I would still be selling. I realized that I don't want to be selling forever. So I'm going to really up my activity and up my volume, up my lead spend, up my inputs, up everything else, and use that as a stepping stone. And because I was able to produce such big months, well, what happened? That attracted other large producers to me. That attracted other people to me. And then finally, I had so many people coming in and I had so many people attracted to me, not because of who I was, but simply because of my results and my work ethic. That's it, which everybody in this call can do. I'm nothing special. And because of that, it finally got to the point where I had so many people I was responsible for, and everything I said weight, I had weight behind it because they know, like, oh, Jonas says something, it's gospel. He's not BSing me because he's actually done it. He's walked the walk, he's done there, and boom, boom, boom. Finally got to the point where I had so many people in my agency that I couldn't personally produce. And then what do you know? I'm out of the field. And now it's like, I mean, shoot, dog. I mean, we work hard, but it doesn't even feel like work. Like today, I'm in the Scottsdale office. I just got done with a one-on-one with an agent. Like we were having a great conversation. He's telling me a few things he's struggling with. I'm giving his feedback. We're tweaking and adjusting. Before that, I was doing a training in the whole office with a bunch of other agents, sharing what works, talking to other people. Now we're on this team call. I'm helping you guys. It's like, this is awesome. I would do this for free. This is sick. It doesn't even feel like work. So you guys gotta, I think that too many people get caught up in the day to day, week to week. And if I did that, I wouldn't, you got to think way bigger than that. Because if I was just thinking day to day, week to week, I wouldn't be doing anything I'm doing right now. I'd be living a completely different lifestyle, completely random, because it's instant gratification. What's going to feel good? What's going to give me the biggest dopamine hit now? But you guys got to think long term. You guys got to make long term decisions. And if you expand the time horizon instead of week to week, day to day, month to month, think about it year to year. anytime somebody says work-life balance, every single time they're referring to that, they think of work-life balance as day to day, week to week. Hormozy talks about if you can simply expand your time horizon on that. So instead of thinking from a think small ball, think big picture. So our my definition of work-life balance, me and Claudia have talked about this many times, we're sacrificing our 20s, where our 20s are imbalanced, and we're focusing on the business so we can actually have balance and have control in our 30s and 40s and have much more balance and much more control than people that are partying in their 20s or casual working a 9 to 5. We're going to actually be able to live life on our terms.
Let's go. Let's go. Be the star of your own movie. Be the star of your own movie. Jonah, and I'm going to ask the same question to you and Ethan. Why do you think if we have the perfect vehicle here, the best industry there is, so we've tried them all, the best industry there is, why do you think people come and go and they get so caught up on the semantics on the first 6 months on testing out every lead possible, every dialer possible, every landing page possible? What would you say to those people? Like, why do you think they think that way? And they're just testing everything, but not sticking through with just one thing for a long period of time.
The lack of discipline.
Mm.
It's just mental laziness and mental procrastination, where if I don't want to do something and I want to procrastinate something, well, the easiest way to procrastinate something is to be distracted by other things. And we're very good at, I think a lot of people are just good at lying to themselves, where it's like this there, and it's easy to fall into this trap of like, oh, I'm being productive. I'm doing things because I'm accomplishing things. I'm looking into different things. I'm getting different things set up. And you're like, yeah, but is that actually effective? What are you actually doing? Are you making the best use of your time? Because I think it's such a simple business that sometimes it's easy for people to overcomplicate. And it's also one of those things where we've all heard the saying that it's never been easier to be great than now.
Mm-hmm.
But the caveat of that and the truth is that it's also never been easier to do nothing with social media, instant gratification, this fake entrepreneur where like millionaire overnight, Netflix, all the comforts of modern society that we have. It's never been easier to do. Like it's the saying that hard times create hard men create good times create soft men, and then the cycle repeats. So we're in a cycle where it's been very good, and there's a lot of soft people. So I think that just people want it. People don't they set unrealistic expectations for themselves. For me, I was pleasantly surprised because I grew up small town, 1,200 people, average salary is $32,000 a year. People that were making six figures that were like people that are making 200K, bro, they're like 50 years old. They've been working for 30 years. And they're like, maybe one day if you play your cards perfectly, you get up to this point. So I working into this, I'm like, shoot, like if I could just work for 10 years and become a millionaire, like that would be a sweet deal. Like that would be really awesome. And it turns out I accomplished it a lot quick. I turned out accomplished it in half the time. So I was pleasantly surprised. But some people get into this and they're just like, yeah, I'm trying to be retired by the age of 23. I'm like, what? Like, that's not how life works. You can't do that.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Ethan, and answer that, brother. Also, I want you to add, because I got a question here for you that somebody sent me to ask you. Answer that, and then I'm going to ask you this at the same time. I know you can compartmentalize and answer both. How many lead types you changed in your first year? But you can answer what I asked Jonah just now, and then answer that question.
Yeah. So on that first question, it's funny you say that. I literally just got off a recruiting call a couple hours ago with this guy, and I was asking what he does. It was like very beginning of the call. We're like 2 minutes in. I'm asking what he does. He's telling me about how he does e-com. He just bought some courses to get into like real estate. And then obviously he booked this call. He wants to get into life insurance, and like all these different things. And I think the reason for that, like people are just looking for what's easy. So they want the easiest thing. They want it to be easy. They want to retire when they're 23. He's telling me he wants to make $1 million a month, which is cool. You can do that. but he wants to do all these different things and he wants to go half in on each different thing. And I think that it just comes down to like people are scared and not disciplined enough to be able to just go all in and grind on one thing. Like they're scared to do it. They want the easy route. And the truth is, like with me, like bro, I'm lazy. I'm lazy. I don't want to be grinding every single day. I don't want to sit in the office, dial for 12 hours a day. I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. But I realize the easy route is doing the hard shit, like grinding for now, and doing all these things I don't want to do. Because like Jonah was saying, when I'm 30, 40, I can do whatever I want because I just sacrifice that time. So like that's the route that, and the way that I look at that is if I can make this sacrifice now and go all in and then just, get the crazy results now, then I can enjoy and do whatever the want for the rest of my life.
My
Um,
man, my man. Let me ask you something. How old are you?
20,
How many degrees do you have?
0,
How many years of sales experience do you have before coming in here?
0.
So when you started your first year, how many lead types have you changed? And have you changed your lead type in the year and a half that you've been in business?
Yeah. I've probably tried just about all of them. So when I was brand new, I was changing them by the week. I was changing the vendor, the age,
How did that work out for you?
here's the thing is at that time I would buy leads for the week, maybe not do that good, not close that much. I'm like, all right, these leads suck. Let me switch these. Let me rip these leads. These leads suck. Let me get these ones. And then I realized when I just picked, like, it doesn't matter which one it was. When I just picked one and stuck with it, oh, it's like, okay, now these leads are good, I guess, because now they're working. But yeah, I was switching leads a lot, and then eventually I was like, dude, like, let me just get like as much quantity on this one, and like I'm gonna get deals. Like, that's all it is. So like, and that's how it is now. Like with my VA, like all those old batches, like I'm closing on all of them. It doesn't matter what they are. I got leads, so I'm good.
Hmm. Are you working mailers? If you out of 100%, what percentage are mailers?
Right now it's all mailers.
Okay.
Majority of the time, I've done like digital for a little bit, but since I've been in the business, it's been pretty much all mailers.
Guys, stick with the same thing, right? We are in a microwavable society, right? Where we want to put in the food, 3 minutes is ready, get out, we eat it. Stick with the same one for 3 months, for 6 months. Just stick with the same one so you can get to the quality, you can get to the calendar full of appointments. But if we don't take advantage of where we are today and are intentional about the leads that we're calling one at a time, and in the back of my head, I'm calling them and I don't even believe in myself, then it's better that you don't show up. We want to save you from the pain. If you want to be safe from the pain, there's no secret sauce here. There is no secret sauce. So, Jonah, from developing producers to developing leaders, how did your mind shift it, but also how did it remain consistent? Because to your point, it's a lot of repetition, but thanks through all the no's you went through, now you can sit in front of other leaders and say, hey, I went through this. This is what you should do when you encounter those situations. So how has that evolution been for you?
It's a good question, Felix. Where for you guys that are taking notes, write this down. Culture is what you tolerate. So your team gets better when you do. So number one, it all stems down to not a leading from the front, but also continually to prioritize your personal development is so important. And so I could just simply, I mean, dude, if I looked at everybody on this call, show me your calendar, I'll show you your future. Like if I could look at your calendar, I can predict exactly how much making money you're making now and you're going to be making 6 months from now. Like I could guarantee you basically down to a freaking T just by simply looking at your calendar. So there should be no white space in there. Like everything you guys do on a daily basis should be intentional. And actually I had somebody ask me a very similar question this morning where like, Jonah, when did it all change for you where your team just took off and exploded? And what I told him was, it's actually an Eddie Wilson quote. He said, Eddie Wilson said, the moment that we start valuing our time, others will value our time. And once I shifted it where it's Pareto's principle, it's ingrained into its science, it's everything. When you start looking for it, where 80% of the results are going to be from the top 20%. You could, I mean, for example, like look at everybody, like everybody in the Zoom call, you look at Prosper, you look at Pinnacle, you look at this Arizona office, it's all the same. No matter which way you slice or dice it or how big or small, it's 80% of the results are stemmed from 20% of the people. So for me, when I first started building, and logically it makes sense, it's like, oh, well, I'm just going to spend all my time with the people that are struggling the most and need the most amount of my help, and I'm going to pour into those people. And then we're all going to rise to the top. It's not how it works. So it's like I ended up just basically wasting all of my time, and all those people ended up quitting anyway and finding their way out of the business. So once I flipped it to spending my time with everybody at the bottom to pouring my time. And here's the thing, I'm not saying at the top, like top results. I don't care about results. I care about inputs. So I don't care if somebody's that hasn't made a sale in 3 months, but he's the first one in the office. He's the last one to leave. He's got a good attitude. When I tell him something, he actually applies it. He's coachable. That's my guy. That's my guy. Like, I don't care what he's doing, how much he's producing. He could be producing nothing. I'm going to pour all my effort and energy into that person. So I look at the actions, I look at the attitude, the activity, and most importantly, the heart. Like I want to work with people that have heart and really want to succeed and win in this business. Like, dude, when I was a new agent, bro, I sucked. I sucked. I was terrible. I didn't make any money my first 2 months. But I just remember wanting to win so freaking badly. I wanted to win so badly. I was working hard and I was doing everything I needed to do. And then finally one day it popped. And one day it popped and then boom. So for everybody on this call that's like everybody on this call should be working towards the point either A, they're in a leadership position or they should be working towards a leadership position. Because you never want to be you're never going to grow a big business being a one-man show. And you never want to be the lid of your business. And so that was up me for a long time where I was the single point of failure in my business. Where if something happened to me, where if I got into a car accident or I was in the hospital or whatever and I wasn't able to work or anything, income just completely shut off. So that's not a business. You're basically a glorified employee at that point. So I want to build a machine. I want to build something that's bigger than me. And the only way to do that is by people development and pouring into other people. So I think just prioritizing and then just hiring quality over quantity. You're never going to build a big business from a scarcity mindset. You're only as strong as your weakest link. So culture is what you tolerate. So if I bring somebody in and maybe he's got a bad attitude or he's negative or he's not coachable or he shows up late, leaves early, that's just going to affect the rest of the culture and the rest of the office. And that just seeps into everybody. So don't be afraid to. This business is not for everybody. So hire quick and fire faster.
Let's go. Remember that it can be for everyone, but it is not for everyone. Keep that in mind because that is huge and that will save you a lot of time, lots of headaches. But to Jonah's point, this is not necessarily insurance. This is a personal development business. So when you start in the business, the first business you got to ask yourself is, am I leading myself the right way? I told myself that this week I was going to hit my 1,500 dials. Did I make that happen? Because many times we expect guarantees from the world. We expect guarantees from others, but we're not willing to guarantee things to ourselves. And that's where all the dichotomy lies many times. And that's where the imposter syndrome starts kicking in. I have two more questions here, but before, because as you notice, we don't do any commercial breaks here. We don't get paid for commercial. I want to open it up to the team. I've gotten about 3 different texts about questions, and I just want to open it up for anybody. Go ahead and ask any of the three of us, myself, Jonah, or Ethan. I know you guys have questions because I got three text messages while we're talking here. So go ahead and mute yourself and ask any question as to anything you're going through or anything that you need from our end.
I got one.
My man, go for it, brother.
All right, Ethan. I was just curious what your strategy is now. Obviously you were pounding the phones in the beginning. Where do most of your appointments come from as far as are they just leads you're feeding your dialers, or they leads you're giving to like new agents and then they're setting for you? Like just kind of curious where most of those come from.
Yeah, so most of my appointments, I got one agent right now who's still dialing for me, waiting to get contracted, but majority of the appointments is coming from my VA. So I have two text VAs. And then when I do bring a new agent on, once they're licensed, they're waiting to get contracted, we have them set appointments. So I'll get appointments from that way. And then if I ever do have blank space, I get a note. Like I still continuously buy leads just because I know like I'll give them to agents or I'll throw it through my VA or something. I'll do something with them. So I'm still buying leads continuously and I barely even get through them. But if I do, if I got 10 minutes, I get a no show, whatever, like I'll rip through those. I'll book myself a couple appointments. And then mainly just through my VA. And then if I do have an agent booking for me.
Nice.
So, team, look at this. Our business is two very simple, right? Two things. Either I'm selling or I'm helping others sell or both. So, new agents, especially if you're starting to build a team, the most important things that you got to put in their mouth the taste of win. It's on us to do that. So if they're waiting for contracts and they're idle, look at it. We have a setter system. So you're not alone. Also, I've seen a lot of us start something, and I don't know if it's ego or I don't know if it's sometimes that we're afraid, but quiet mouths don't get fed. You want to come in and ask questions to people that are having these results. I have a few more topics here to go over with John and Ethan, but any other questions, team? I see a lot of new agents here. Cameron, my man, good to see you, brother. Go for it.
You talking to me?
Yes, sir. I saw your
Oh,
hand
good
up,
seeing
man.
you too,
I'm
man.
entering the room, bro. I got you.
Oh
I
yeah.
see you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So a question that I have, right? So I'm at school, and I think my biggest struggle with coming back to the business has simply literally just been starting. Dropout is crazy. But the biggest question that I had is I was on a call, just seeking wisdom from another um individual. The question that I have is what advice or wisdom would you give on someone who struggles with analysis paralysis? Like I look at my schedule and I see all that I have to do and I get so overwhelmed that I literally just like shut down sometimes.
Okay. I mean, we cannot take it. I see Jonah smiling. I know Jonah got an answer,
Can I
but
answer
I,
this one?
yeah, go for it, bro.
I put it simply, and for everybody taking notes, write this down. Action ends anxiety. Execution ends excuses. If you can't lead yourself, you can't lead anybody. So start with winning the day. All right. How do you how I mean how do you move a mountain? By one rock at a time. So I think it just comes down to, for me, because I feel like I'm in this position every single day where it's like, holy crap, I got a lot to do. How am I going to get all this done? So then I just constructively analyze it, or I'm like, all right, well, what are the highest leverage tasks? What are the most important tasks? Which is typically people, or pouring into people, or whatever it may be. But what's the most important thing I need to get done today? And then reverse engineer it backwards from most important to least important. And then just be super intentional with time blocking. Be super intentional with time blocking and your schedule. Like Ethan said, Ethan's like, bro, if I have 4 minutes before my next appointment, I'm not just sitting there for 4 minutes. Like I'm dialing the phones and I'm getting another appointment in that 4 minutes. So we all have a lot more time in the day that we really think, Claudia, help me out here, or Felix, the Menu
Yes.
Tips team in college full time. What's her name?
Alisa.
Melissa.
Alyssa. Yes, Alyssa. I mean, shoot, dog. She's in college. She's a full-time college student and she still rips 40K a month like it's nothing.
She's gonna hit President's
Consistent.
Club. I think she's like 20K away.
Gonna write 400 G's this month. 400 grand. All right. So if you guys want to feel like crap about yourself, look at her in a good way. It's like, I'm full-time and I didn't write that much life insurance. It's because she's just super intentional. Like she's got her whole day time blocked, boom, 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 boom. This time, like I guarantee you, if you call her up right now, if we called her up and we asked her, like, hey, what are you doing at 1 p.m. on Tuesday? Boom, this. All right. 2 p.m. on a Saturday. This. All right, 4 p.m. on Monday. Like just it's blocked out. So it's like, I mean, think about, I mean, it's just using simple leverage tools like, dude, Google Calendar.
Yeah.
Love that thing. Like, bro, if I didn't have my Google Calendar, there's no way I'd be where I'm at right now. Because like, think about if I just came in the office and I'm like, I'm just gonna get as much done as possible, and like, it's like, I mean, that's that talk about anxiety. That's anxiety. But I know I got it all blocked off. Another productivity, another big one, me and Claudia, Felix, we all love, is Todoist. So Toist, all one word, Todoist. It's a basically like a built out CRM to do list, but more in depth and detailed. So we have our entire corporate team on there and we love that thing. So that's another good productivity hack. I don't know, Felix, if Felix or Ethan, if there's anything you guys want to add to that.
No,
No, go ahead, brother. Go, Ethan.
no, I was saying that was good.
Look, I think something very powerful is, I've seen a lot of people in this industry, and the best thing that I've learned is there are other people, to Jonah's point, that have already paved the way. So I always try to see, well, in my current situation, if that person is Alisa, I'm meeting with her every day, or I'm in the live dial rooms because she shows up in the live dial rooms. And then I'm going to come in and say, hey, Jonah, I see you've been killing it. I have about 4 questions. Will you mind if we meet for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes? I'm going to be very intentional about your time, but I really look up to what you're doing. And I want to be able to copy what you're doing and hopefully even do it better. Will you mind giving me 5 minutes of your time? I promise I got you. That's how you build relationships, because where we are here at Prosper Pinnacle, you have the platform and people are running businesses within the platform. So it's on us. When I saw John, I said, well, he has something that I don't have. I want to connect. Well, let me move to Tampa and let me be close and let me observe. And let me just, at one point, just like the bad sticks, the good sticks as well. And the great sticks even better. So that will help you getting out of your own way, because you're not alone in this world. So that will be our best advice, brother. I hope that answers your question.
Okay,
Most
let me
definitely.
let me add one more thing to that, and then I don't know, Felix, if you have anything to add, or I can close this out. But
Close us
dude,
out. Yes, sir.
um, another thing for everybody on this call, where we're all here to help each other. We're all here to help each other. We're all one team. But also the caveat to that, where I have a lot of people that call me that aren't in my downline, and I'm never going to get a dollar off of, and I help them. But when they call me, I've got a mental note, like for example, Sean Connor and Mike Schill. Love those guys. I will probably make $0, and that's perfectly fine. Like, I'm not saying like I'll make no money off of them, but I help them all the time, and they call me. But you know when they call me, they're like, hey, Mike called me. He's like, hey, Big Dog Jonah, hey, bro, real quick, two quick questions for you. Boom, boom. All right. Every time Mike calls me, I answer the phone. Think about if Mike called me and Mike's like, hey, bro, how's it going? Good, dude. So what I'm thinking, this is where I'm at, and this is what happened the other day, and it's like a 20-minute phone call. All right. Mike calls me again. I want to help, but we're also here to run a business. Do you think I'm going to answer Mike's call? No, probably not, to be honest with you. So the same thing with everybody else, where it's, again, it goes back to the beginning of this call, where be able to self-diagnose your business and understand your pain points and your weak points. So like, dude, I don't care if they're in their hierarchy or not. Like, bro, if an agent comes to me and they're like, hey, Jonah, hey, this, and this, boom, 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 dude, and like I know they're intentional, I'll actually want to spend more time with them
That's real.
because of their intentionality and because of how prepared they are coming into the conversation, regardless of if I'm getting an override or not. So where I'm going with that is to say is like, just make sure you guys are being, we're all here to help, but make sure you guys are being respectful of people's time, where it's intentional time, not just chatting or time wasting, because time is just so valuable. So we're out of time, but dude, to end this, go back to what we were saying before. Be the star of your own show. Be the star of your own movie. Action ends anxiety. Execution ends excuses. So if you can't lead your day, you're never going to be able to build a team. So let's make it a week, guys. Let's make it a week.
Let's go.
Oh.
This was awesome.
God
Win
bless,
the day.
team.
Win the day.